Hey everybody, welcome back to Bearcat Update. Today, I'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our spring sports. From winning streaks to walk-offs, we got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Softball team returned home after a long road stretch to play a pair of conference doubleheaders. On Friday, the Bearcats hosted the Fort Hays State Tigers. The first game was all Bearcats as they dominated in an 8-0 win, as Jaden Striegel earned another full game shutout victory. The second game would prove to be a tougher contest for Northwest as it took extra innings to secure the victory, with Omar Love adding another walk-off RBI to her resume to end the game 3-2 in the 10th inning. The two wins marked the first doubleheader sweep in conference play for the Bearcats this season. On Saturday, it was the Central Missouri Jennies that came to town for an afternoon doubleheader. The Bearcats were caught on their heels in Game 1 as a strong Jennies batting performance and struggles adjusting to the windy elements stifled the Bearcats, resulting in a 10-1 Game 1 defeat. The Bearcats would bounce back in the second game as they used a 5-run third inning to capture momentum. Third baseman J. Lee Darnell was a driving force for the Bearcats as she led the team with 2 hits in 3 at-bats with a solo home run to kick off the scoring for Northwest. They now sit at 25-8 overall and 5-3 in conference play. They turn their attention to UCO and Newman as they look to climb the MIAA standings, currently sitting in 5th place. It was a week of highs and lows for Bearcat baseball as they welcomed in rival Missouri Western for a one-off game on Wednesday. It was the kind of day you try to just forget about as an athlete, as the Griffins tallied 16 runs on 19 hits, including a pair of 3-run home runs and a grand slam. The Bearcats also tallied 3 errors and went 8 deep in the bullpen in the 16-6 loss. Things didn't look like they were going to get much easier as the number 2 ranked Pitt State Gorillas came to town on Friday for Game 1 of a 3-game series. Game 1 was back and forth affair that took 10 innings to decide. The game ultimately came down to a Jordy Ventura 2-run home run to put the Bearcats over the top, winning 11-9. The series continued yesterday in Game 2, which went from one extreme to the other. The Bearcats went pitch for pitch with the Gorillas in a low-scoring pitcher's duel. Tyson Hilsebeck entered the game in relief of Gage Busby in the second inning, pitching 5 1/3 innings with no runs allowed. The Bearcats scored a go-ahead run in the 8th inning off a John Connors RBI double and held the Gorillas scoreless in the 9th as Diego De Santiago shut the door, earning his 3rd win for the season in a 2-1 Bearcat victory. The Bearcats now sit at 21-9 overall and 11-5 in conference play. They'll be going for a sweep of the Gorillas today after the win yesterday handed Pitt State their first series loss of the season. It was not an easy week for the men's tennis team as they faced off against the D1 Drake Bulldogs and number 32 ranked Nebraska Kearney Lopers on the road. Both matches resulted in 5-2 defeats for the Bearcats, and they faced the William Woods Owls at home, earning a 6-1 victory. Despite losing the doubles point 2 matches to 1, the Bearcats locked in on singles, sweeping the Owls 6-0. They now sit at 6-7 on the season and 0-1 in conference play, but are 2-0 at home. They have a key stretch of home matches coming up, starting with the Drury Panthers today and featuring a pair of conference battles against the Augustana Vikings and Newman Jets later in the week. The women's tennis team has been scorching hot as they continue to rack up wins. They extended their winning streak to 10 matches with wins over Fort Hays and Nebraska Kearney. Against Fort Hays, the Bearcats put belt to tiger as they earned a clean 7-0 sweep in which the Bearcats did not lose a single set. It was a much tighter affair against the Lopers as Nebraska Kearney earned the doubles point 2-1. The Lopers were also victorious in number 1 singles. The 2 other singles matches required tiebreakers that broke in the Bearcats' favor. With 3 other singles victories, the Bearcats said Lopes down to Nebraska Kearney, earning the 5-2 victory. The Bearcats are sitting pretty at 11-1 and will enjoy a nice 6-match homestand spanning the next 2 weeks. And now we're going to take our first break of the show. When we come back, Gabe Porter and Jackson Phelps will give us their picks for the upcoming slate of MIAA and Bearcat games. We'll be right back.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts mini radio shows such as Nermageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
Oh, hey, you're here. You ready to get started? Then let's go. At KNWT, we do a lot. We have sports, news, and so much more. But you're probably wondering, well, what do we do? Well, we do promos, behind-the-scenes looks at KNWT productions, and, well, everything creative in between. So, who are we? Well, we are Creative Services.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's edition of Porter's Picks. After some successful baseball and softball picks last week, let's dive into this week's picks. Starting off, we have some MIAA Conference baseball. We'll take a quick visit over to Arkansas Fort Smith as they look to upset Missouri Southern as they face off in a 3-game series. In their last matchup, Southern took down Arkansas 15-5 in 7 innings. This matchup doesn't have a lot of history as Arkansas is relatively new to the MIAA. But up to this point, Southern is 3-0 in this matchup. Looking at the conference rankings, Missouri Southern sits 8 spots above Arkansas Fort Smith. And with that, give me Missouri Southern, earning a 3-0 series sweep. Our MIAA Game of the Week is a softball doubleheader taking place in Warrensburg, Missouri, where the Jennies will be facing the Northeastern State Riverhawks. These two teams are very evenly matched as they sit right next to each other in the conference standings at 4th and 5th place. Historically, UCM has a slight edge over the Riverhawks as they sit at 15 and 14 in the all-time series. Northeastern has split series with Emporia, Mo West, and Northwest, while also sweeping a series against Washburn. While UCM has been dominant and has the upper hand record-wise, give me Northeastern State to force a series split with UCM 1-1. Last but not least, our Bearcat Update series of the week. We'll be wrapping up with a matchup between the Bearcats and the University of Central Oklahoma. The two teams will face off in Edmond, Oklahoma, as 4 spots separate the two teams in MIAA standings. The Bearcats will have their work cut out for them, though, as the Broncos are the reigning conference champions, having beat Rogers State 8-0 in 5 innings a year ago to claim the title. When they played a season ago, the Bearcats and Broncos split their doubleheader, with Northwest earning a 4-2 win and UCO getting a 12-0 victory. While it seems like the Broncos may have the upper hand, I'll take the Bearcats, earning a win to split the series 1-1. That's been all for this week's edition of Porter's Picks, and we're going to send it over to Jackson Phelps on the other side of the studio for this week's edition of Bearcat Breakdown. Take it away, Jackson.
Welcome back to another edition of Bearcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Jackson Phelps, and this week we are taking a look at softball's next series matchup against UCO. Let's dive in. UCO continues to be a dominant force both in the MIAA and Division II softball. Starting the year, the Broncos began MIAA play with a 2-game series sweep over Washburn and splitting their second conference matchup versus UCM 1-1. Despite the hot start for Northwest, conference play has created adversity as the Bearcats try to get a winning streak started in MIAA play. They've split their recent series against Rogers State 1-1 and Northeastern State 1-1. UCO has been led by Brooklyn Ryan as she leads the team in batting with a .404 average, 40 hits, and has had a good performance against UCM back on March 21st, going 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. Shelby Beard leads the team in pitching and through 84 2/3 innings pitched has posted a 2.81 ERA, also has posted 82 strikeouts and a 12-3 record. Northwest has been led in the bats by Emma Haig, and she leads the team with a .411 average and also has posted 30 hits, 7 doubles, and 12 RBIs. The ace on the mound for the Bearcats has been Jaden Striegel, and through 75 innings pitched has posted a 1.59 ERA with a 10-2 record, along with 3 shutouts, 52 strikeouts, and 22 walks. After taking a look at these two teams, I will disagree just slightly with you, Gabe, and take the Bearcats in the sweep with how the pitching has looked, and I feel like the Bearcats are due for a sweep in conference play. Well, that's been it for another week of Bearcat Breakdown. I've been your host, Jackson Phelps. We're going to take a quick break, and when Bearcat Update returns, I'll be back on the floor with Wiley Ray for another edition of Weekend Sports Report. We'll be right back.
Where did it go? My notebook on Northwest News has everything I need.
Is this what you're looking for? I get my news from the Northwest Missourian, or you can check them out on YouTube at KNWT TV.
Huh, okay. I guess I'll check it out.
To stay up to date in Maryville, tune into Digging Deeper with the Missourian every Monday at noon on KNWT TV.
Wait, how long have you been in my closet?
Welcome into Weekend Sports Report. My name is Wiley Ray. With me, as always, is Jackson Phelps. We got a lot to cover today, so let's get right into it. Cue that intro. Jackson, Bearcats took the series against Pitt State. They won Friday and then won yesterday, and now they're playing for a possible sweep today.
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. You
Yeah.
have the number 2 ranked team come in, number 1 batting team in the MIAA, so one of the best hitting teams in Division II as a whole, and you come in and you give them their first series loss of the season. I mean, absolutely incredible. I had the privilege of being out there to watch both those games, and it was a very, very fun time. The atmosphere was very loud for it being at the Cat. And honestly, I mean, the guys played so well. Pitching, game 1, really the Achilles, but the hitting, brought in 11 runs and a walk-off home run. Game 2, we saw a masterclass on the mound from some of those guys. But man, really, 7th consecutive series win for the Cats. They're on a roll, and they're, like you said, going for the sweep. And it's very inevitable they could do it.
Yeah, you're talking about being on a roll. They've won 3 of the last 5 with losses against Mo West and Washburn, a 16-6 loss against Mo West. But I think, and I heard through the grapevine that they were wanting, they would have rather given up that loss to Mo West to prepare for Pitt State this week, so they can have that arsenal, and especially the duos that we've been seeing on the rubber today or this week for the Bearcats. So, I'll take that loss if it gives me 2 wins against the number 2 team.
Like you said, want to get it out of the way early on, especially when you have the number 2 ranked team coming in. Obviously, you have that Thursday after that Wednesday game to rest, get into the practice, get into the cages, because the bats were very cold for the Bearcats that day, and really the walks and the hit by pitches were allowing Mo West to get 2 3-run home runs and a grand slam. So pitching, again, really didn't have that good of a day on Wednesday, but then they came in on Friday, my apologies. Pitching still was a little rocky, but they were able to hold at least some of those gorillas on the bases to not let them come around to score. And that's the name of the game. If you can leave a bunch on base, you're going to see wins coming in, especially if your offense is getting up and hot. And so a great win on Friday, yesterday on Saturday, and then hopeful today that they can get that sweep. And that would just be so cool to see them pull off another upset. We saw it last year with UCM. This year, it's the Pitt State Gorillas.
I thought the same exact thing as I was watching that game yesterday, where it was, hey, we got the series win against UCM in upset fashion, and now we're against Pitt State. And this team right now, I think they're sitting 21-9. I mentioned earlier, and one of the big things is they're not ranked. That's one thing that's kind of shocked me a little, is some of the losses are a little bit of rough losses to where it kind of hurts that ranking.
Yeah.
But when you look at this team and you look at how competitive they are, and they can play against some of the best in the MIAA or even the nation, this team definitely should be receiving votes, if not being ranked in that upper 20 spot.
Like you've said, right now they're tied with losses with Pitt State in the MIAA standings, just behind Rogers State. So they're in that that 1-4 spot, which is awesome to see. From a year ago, Jandren had an upside from just a year ago when he took over. And this year, he brought in those guys from all over the place, it seems like, but they're really a great team. They're fun to be around. The energy's always hot in that dugout, and so they have a lot of fun out there. And I think that's a big difference, is that there's a bunch of friends having fun.
Yeah, and in those last 5, they've put up 48 runs. And so you were talking about the bats and the offense firing on all cylinders for Northwest. The good thing that I like about this team is their capability to advance them, to move them around. They find opportunities. It's kind of like a woodpecker in a petrified forest, just trying to find an opportunity. and the Bearcat baseball team does a good job of finding those opportunities, and obviously they did it in game one with Yordi Ventura, a walk-off 2-run home run, and I believe it was the first pitch of the at-bat, if I remember correctly.
It sure was. It was one out, and you just saw it off the bat. You knew it was gone, and everyone stood up, and it was such a cool moment. It was freezing cold, but man, you couldn't find a hotter moment there. Yeah,
cold outside, but the bats were hot for the Bearcats moving into Saturday when John Connors had a go-ahead RBI double to bring in Frank Gall. But we're going to show our favorite person, Gabe Porter, was on call for the Northwest walk-off. We're going to send it to that clip. Let's take a look at Gabe Porter's walk-off call for the MIAA network.
Yordi Ventura with 1 on, 1 out. Swings on his first one, driven right center field, and that one is gone. Yordi Ventura walks it off for the Cats. The Bearcats win a close matchup at home, 11-9 against the Pitt State Gorillas.
Oh yeah.
So this is a curveball, and you cut down.
Okay. How do you throw your slider? Just come across like this?
I usually hold it. Same thing, kind of like curveball on the C, and then whip it.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. We're going to shift it to my favorite segment, Rays, Plays, and Highlights, brought to you by Anthony Martinez. Let's get into play number 1. Alrighty, in this one right here, Jackson, this is a softball play that we saw against Fort Hays State earlier this week. In one thing, it was a clean field by Kirsten Todd and a beautiful throw to first for a good out.
It really was. You know, in a routine play in the infield like that, you can see she likes to set her feet here, delivers a really strong throw over to first.
Yep.
You can't get more routine. You can't get better than that, especially with a shortstop. The most important position in the infield, in my opinion. That's what I played all my years. So I love seeing them make plays out there. And as you can see, she just got there, put it right there. Boom. There you go. Easy.
Yeah, and you know, that's one thing. I was a third baseman, so like obviously I'll argue third baseman's a little bit of a better position to be.
Right.
But definitely with Kirsten Todd at shortstop, that's where the Bearcats' left side is good. Jaylee Darnell at third, and then Kirsten Todd at short. Does a great job there. I really like the fact that she was able to just full clean motion. You see it comes with it, boom.
Yep.
Already on target as she starts moving. She moves with the ball. She moves towards first, and then just a nice clean throw for the out. Now, let's send it to play number 2. And this one might steal our thoughts on this one.
Yeah, you know, it's a good play by Parker Griffith. He's the captain. He's behind the dish, usually with the catcher spot. So he's used to being that voice in moments like this. He goes for the butt. As you can see, he gets really down low and square, watches the ball go past, and immediately saying, get down here, get down here.
Yep.
John Connors on his horse. It's a beautiful little small ball play there, and you know, a good way to score for the Cats.
You know, this is one thing I really like about this Bearcats team, is their ability. I was talking about getting opportunity, and right here's one. Not afraid to get the extra bases. Not afraid to steal a bag if they need it, especially on a pass ball. I saw this with Leo May yesterday, and even Frank Gall did this a couple times.
Yep.
Just as a pitcher, putting that bunt sign up definitely kind of messes with your mind of going, well, heck, I don't want to give up this run, so now I have to try and relocate it.
Yep.
And that's what he tried here, and obviously spiked it into the turf, and you're seeing a scored run out of it.
Like you said, it really throws the pitcher off their game because they're trying to figure out the zone of the player. So the first couple of pitches of the at-bat, usually you're going to see a fastball kind of either on the outside or inside half of the plate. So Parker right there immediately is like, all right, well, I'm going to throw off my zone. So he can't even see it, and he gets really low, so the zone now is eliminated. So now, like you said, in a squeeze bunt situation like that, the situation is that you're going to try and put it on the opposite side of the field so Connors can come home. So right there, he has no idea what to do. And like you said, all he had to do was just throw it, and you know, ultimately didn't go his way. And so, like I said, the Cats, this is what they do. They get in the head of the pitchers on the base paths, and they really wreak havoc. And that's how they score a lot of their runs and bring them home.
Hence why the name Cardiac Cats. Let's send it to play number 3. And this one, Jackson, a bomb by Jeremiah Kabuya. Bomb in this one.
Oh, come on. I like that, Wiley Ray. That's fun. But no kidding. This guy is the real deal. 11 home runs on the season. He's looking to topple the all-time season record at 18 home runs, and he's been doing it all season long. One of the best hitters in the MIAA, number 8 as it is. So Jeremiah Kabuya, he sits in that 2-hole this series. He has been a little cold against Pitt State, but he's looking to get another one here soon. But this really just shows his type of hitter ability. You know, he's a big pull hitter. He likes to sit back on that back leg. You can kind of see he loads. When he loads, he dips that shoulder immediately and just turns the hips. Textbook hitting. You know, a hitting coach is, you know, drooling watching Jeremiah Kabuya swing a bat because he really is fundamental the way he does it, but he puts him over the wall, so it's really fun.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if it's just the number 34, but he probably sits there and after that he goes, I love it when you call me Big Papa, just like David Ortiz. And the way he sits back on it and the way, like you said, he just drives, definitely gives him the name Big Papi, just like David Ortiz. And I love watching this guy swing. He's one of my favorite batters to watch on the diamond for the Bearcats, specifically because it's a big guy making big plays for Northwest.
Come on, man. I agree with you on that. He's one of the big anchors for this offense. You know, having Frank and then Jeremiah hit, it's really good stuff.
Yeah. Bearcats look to get the sweep, but that'll be it for this week's Weekend Sports Report. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll have more with Bearcat Update when we come back. We'll catch you guys later.
Northwest Tower Yearbook has dedicated over a century to documenting life on campus and in the Maryville community. The award-winning organization has numerous Pacemaker Awards and a spot in the Associated Collegiate Press Hall of Fame. Learn more about Tower at the handles below.
Gabe, did you hear the news? New Game Plus is coming back with a season 2.
More like season new.
This season, we're switching things up with a fresh coat of paint
and a fresh crew of packs.
We've got it all from tech history to the hidden secrets of your average console.
And don't forget about our wacky shenanigans.
So make sure to catch New Game Plus Season 2.
Tuesdays at noon on KNWT.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Earlier this week, our reporter Destiny McDonald sat down with softball player Omara Love as they talked about her journey to college and the legacy that she hopes to leave behind. Here's a quick look at that interview.
As the softball season continues, each game means a little more for the seniors. Senior outfielder Omara Love is taking in every last moment in her final season wearing a Bearcat uniform. After spending all 4 years in the program, Love says her journey as a Bearcat is what makes this year especially meaningful.
For sure, it's been a long journey. I feel like I think when I came in, I was nervous, and I'm tiny also. So like being on a team with a bunch of older girls who are also coming back from COVID, I think was a little bit nerve-wracking. And just being a freshman and trying to prove that you know how to play, being able to develop my own skills as a player. I feel like I've grown so much from what I came in looking like as a freshman. So it's been really cool just to see the growth that I've had over the few years.
For Love, the journey isn't only about growing as a player, it's also about how deeply softball became connected to her college experience.
Going from high school to college, there's a complete gap there. You're going through a lot of changes, your body's changing, you're meeting new people, you're on your own for the first time, and I definitely think that playing a sport in college has just made me more disciplined and more determined to go and do different things, and just grown me in, like I mentioned before, my communication and just how I relate to other people, but just made me a hard worker and even a fast learner, I feel like, too. But it's definitely just made me who I am, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity just to be here for the past 4 years, and Northwest has done a tremendous job of that. Just didn't think I would ever be here at Northwest, and the second I stepped on campus, I was like, wait, yeah, I think this is the place to be. So it's been really cool just to see the development over the few years.
Omara credits Northwest for shaping her into the athlete and person she is today, and she hopes her time here leaves a legacy for the future Bearcats to follow.
I hope people remember me as kind-hearted and loving. I feel like one thing that has been a rock for me over the past few years is just my relationship with God. That's just been a big thing for me, and I really want people to remember that, I was a light, and that was the first thing that they saw. But not only that, is that, I was a good leader, and, I'm funny, and, I'm outgoing, and I may be a little bit shy, but, that I was hardworking and dedicated, and, just one of the best for the people and the girls around me.
While Love has always been a rock for those around her, she encourages others to do the same by staying true to who you are.
Don't care what people think. Literally, it does not matter what other people think. Find a group of people who are going to nurture you and spur you on, and help you grow and become a better person. And yeah, don't worry about what other people have to say. Is that God has already made you to be who you are. You don't have to be someone else to fit inside of a box or inside of a bubble. That you have gifts that have been given to you that you can use, to help others, to help the world, whatever it may be, but you're not meant to fit inside of a box, and yeah, just to kind of venture out, be spontaneous, be unique, you know.
While Omara's collegiate career is nearing its final chapter, the friendships, the growth, and the memories built through Northwest softball will last far beyond the final game. Reporting from Northwest Missouri State University, I'm Desi McDonald with Bearcat Update. Back to you.
Thanks, Destiny. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I've been your host, Hayden Lavaley, and this has been Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We're live every Sunday at 2. You can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. Along with Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in no time.